How are you, Irene? Good to see you. And somebody who wants to do teddy cam. No, let me up. Let me up. Let me up. Let me up. Look at this. No self-service. There's no self-serving. If you still got everything out of your bag, you should be glad and be careful to get everything out of your bag. There you go. Look at all this. You got all that. Look at all that. Okay. Mr. Ted, would you like to have a piece of pepperoni? Can you sit? Can you sit pretty? And look at our friend. Look at our friend. Oh, we've got more friends out there now. Hi. Welcome, everybody. Hello there. Oh, goodness. Yes, he said, I do enjoy my pepperoni. I'm a big, fierce dog. I need lots of nourishment to keep me going. I need a lot to keep me going. Don't I, Dad? Need a lot to keep you going. There's Adeline. Hello, Adeline. Sit, please. Oh, what a pretty puppy you are. Okay, just about done. One stick left. Can you lay down? Lay down. All the way. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, he's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. Yeah, you're getting a mother load this morning because you had all kinds of little pieces left in the bag. We finished it off. That's it. We're all done. All gone for now. It's all gone. So come on. Let's get down. Oh, boy. Teddy loves his teddy cam appearances. Oh, we got so much fun stuff to talk about today. I'll show you some of the stuff we were working on last week that is now dry and touchable. I don't know how many of these. I think a lot of these are prior weeks, so I won't go through as many of those. I would say we have a pretty good set of stencil examples, though. But I did some last week that weren't dry yet, so I couldn't show them to you. And I did, I'm not sure what that's out of. It's out of something. And let me see what I've got in here that was last week. This was last week. We used, did we use on this? We used, what did I use? Hi, Catherine. This was one of last week's, and I'm trying to decide what we used. It's an opaque finish on this one, which is making me wonder. It may just, I don't think it's just ink, but we may have had some texture paste or something in it. But I thought that's going to be a beautiful background for something. We did this in class last week. And we did this in class last week. Same technique, 2 different stencils. We did this in class last week. Super quick peacock feathers. Love the way it turned out. It's fun. Hi, Glenn. There's some white papers. Yeah, I can use those today. There's some I can use today. We did this last week. Foil through a stencil. I did this after we went off the air last week. I had the black sticky and I put a piece of metal leaf over it. We'll do this again today. This one I did last night. I took one of those Jamie Powders papers that I made, one of my background papers, and I wanted to know what would happen if I just put clear Ranger texture paste over the top, and I love the way it worked out.
Yeah, the show us.
I'm trying to figure out how I got those water spots, but I like the water spots anyway. See the texture paste on there? It made it darker where I put the clear paste. So that turned out to be a fun background. This one I did last night, a little multimedia here. I did two colors of ink. You can't really see the two colors. This was on the Jamie powders, but it actually has blue and green. You can kind of tell when I tell you that, and you can look for them. I did this honeycomb pattern with blue and green, and then I just took some polish, some opal polish, and I just kind of scattered it around on there. So I had those little interesting purple flecks in it. But I like that. This one we did last week with a spritzer through a stencil. Love that. It's so pretty. And let me see what else we have that we haven't shown multiple times yet. Those we already have. Those we have.
Hi, Sharma.
Hi, Sharma. Good to see you, friend. This was stencil butter through a stencil. I showed you this before, but I just loved this one. This was my extra print after I did one of these others. Which one did I do? I did no. One of these on blue. I don't know if it's this one, but that one like this. I did this through my stencil, and it turned out beautiful. Well, then I had lots of ink on top of my stencil still, so I spritzed it good and put a piece of watercolor paper over the top. And I love the way this one came out. The deeper you look at it, the more pattern you see in it. And I love the fact that it looks like writing across there. That's just one of my favorites. And I'll put those. Looked at that. Okay, well, let's start on some new samples. Let's look at some new things. This one I did last night. I took a piece of that Jamie paper that was just dark blue, and I put some opal polish, this stuff, the gilding polish. I put some opal polish through a stencil, and because I was going on to a darker color, it came out purple, which I thought was pretty. I like the texture in this. I like the fact that I've got little odd bits of color here and there. I like that a lot. And then, of course, I had a lot of that polish left on my stencil, and I wanted to see what a second print would look like, but I just grabbed a piece of scrap paper. But look at this. This is the same polish on white. And I think the second print was wonderful. I wish I had a better piece of paper for it when I did that, but I can probably still use that for something, put a border down the side of something. So that was fun. Now, let's do some new stuff. Today, what I have in mind is I want to do the foil, do some metal leaf while I have you here, just because you haven't seen that actually go down. I put it on that black one, but I didn't give you a chance to see that. So this is Mona Lisa Speedball metal foil. It comes in what did they eat before they went home? No haggis. That's good. Sure, tell me what they ate. Okay, these sheets are separated by pieces of tissue. Oh, there it comes. And the whole sheet peels up. Now you might be wondering, why would I want this instead of gilding flakes? And it's really identical to gilding flakes, with the exception that these sheet foils are all in one continuous sheet, and because they are, you get a little different effect than you get when you put it on with gilding flakes. We'll do a gilding flakes one next. So I just put my foil over the top of my sticky. We showed you this last week. The sticky stuff is where it's going to look a bit more like gilding flakes down here where I piece it back in. I can take these flakes of foil, put them right back over the areas I'm working, use all the little crumbs. And then what works really well to
venison stew cran-chan, which is raspberries and cream with Scotch whiskey.
Oh, that actually sounds pretty good. What did I do with that brush I had? That stiff brush. I thought I had it. The materials I had right here. You need a lot of different things to put this down, but it's a short-handled stiff brush, honey. Is it over there? I didn't bring it back from the other table. Oh, good, he's got it. So I could use 2 pieces of foil, or I could just keep kind of moving these little pieces. Yeah, that's what I want. This is not a particularly short-handled one. It's exactly what I want. By using a stiff brush that still has pretty soft bristles, they're just, I can rub over this and get all the detail out of my foils. Just kind of polishes everything up as we go. Kind of sweep some of this almost glittery material that I have moved off of here onto these areas that didn't get any yet. Like I said, I could get another piece of foil out, but and I can pick up the little bits of foil. This is what's turning out beautiful. So, metal leafing material on our sticky background. Now the sticky background we created using something new I have coming in. It's not here. Actually, it might be here. I don't know. I had boxes that came in last night, but it is like the stencil butters in that it comes in a little jar like this, but this is called tacky when dry. And I scooped it out and put it across my stencil, and you get a nice tacky background only through the stencil openings. Okay, let's show this one. Look how beautiful that turns out. How shiny and pretty. And you get extra shine because I'm using the full sheets. Okay. Use the scissors I couldn't find earlier. I can reuse this other half of this paper. I'll pull that over. So I love that. Oh, you could have named the calves after the members of our group. I'd be interested to know your naming conventions. This one's really willful, so it's going to be... All right. So we did the metal leaf. I'll show you that package again. You get these. You can get these in a variety of art stores. And they're not cheap, but they're not terribly expensive either. You can even buy this in 24 karat gold. I'm not going to be using any 24 karat gold, but tell you that. But that's you can see that you can actually gild frames and things using this metal leaf. So I wanted to try that for you. All right, let's next do I had a tube of I had a tube of foil sitting out on here, honey. Did it get moved to the tray? The tube of green foil. I know I have a bunch of it over there, and I could use one of those. I had one out that was color I wanted to use. Just grab a couple. Something with blue, green. We're going to do one next that has Deco Foil. Deco Foil is actually the brand. Oh, this is pretty. It's lapis. I'm going to use this lapis blue. All right. If I can get it open. It needs to be sealed in some fashion. Not sure how. Oh, well, it's just tight. Ah, there we go. All right. You pull the roll of Deco foil out and remove a piece. Comes with multiple sheets rolled in a little bundle. I always manage to mess them up before I put them down on my project. Mess up the nice rolling. It's harder to put back in the tube. My dad went through a stint where he was raising Black Angus cattle, and he said they were going to be beef cattle. When they got to an age where they could be processed, he was having kind of a hard time doing it. My mom was teasing him, so he went ahead and he had his favorite, Bossy, and he took care of having the processors come out and take care of Bossy. And then every time they went to have a steak, Mom said it was really good, really, really good. So she'd tell Dad, "Oh, poor Bossy." And he'd have to push his plate across the table because he couldn't eat it. I've been moving my tools back and forth from one desk to the other desk, so I don't know where anything is. There's the other color I wanted. All right. I need. Do you see one of those palette tools over there? The scraper. Scraper. So my mom was cruel about Bossy. Needs to be rubbed down good on there or put through. The other thing I could do is put it through an embossing machine if that's what I'm looking for. Ah, I thought maybe I had two there. I did. Thank you. Just wasn't picking up the way I thought it should. So use my scraper on here. Just really get that foil down into my scraper, into my glue. This is using Tacky when dry, and I have some of this coming in, but there's another substance you can use to do this. It's been out for a long time, and it is from Ranger, and it is sticky embossing powder. So you can put it on anything you would use with embossing paper. See how we're foiling here. You can put it on anything you can put with embossing powder, and it will pick up the foil. So you put it on, and then after your embossing powder's on your project, then you heat it, and you get that beautiful foiled effect. This foil is called Lapis Blue. It's from Deco Foil. Doesn't look like I got my paste real deep in some places, but I actually really like the shabby chic of this with the gold and the blue. I think that's really pretty. That'll be really pretty used. So that's nice. And we know from last week that we can put this foil back down if we want to and pick up some more of that. If there's any places that still are a little bit tacky, you can just lay another area of your foil down, and you can maybe pick up a few more bits of the foil. But isn't that pretty? So this is Deco Foil through a stencil. It's not actually through a stencil. The Deco Foil is on the paste that went through the stencil. Let's see what else I have. I still have a jar of embossing gilding flakes here. I have this one, and let's put some gilding flakes on here. I thought this was a mixed jar. It's not. It'd be more interesting to have a mixed jar, but this is what I had here. Just set these flakes out over my project so you can see that those metals we were doing a minute ago are exactly the same thing. Those are just in full sheets, and these are in little partial sheets. It's pretty clever the way that they sell them to us in a sheet, and the ones that get messed up in processing end up in these jars for gilding flakes, and we spend just as much money for them. You do not want to do gilding flakes with a fan nearby, because this metal is just light as a feather, lighter than a feather. And it will fly everywhere. Don't do it under your air conditioner or your heater. Lots of layered pieces in here. I've never had a tube quite like this where all the pieces were kind of stacked up in there. I'm going to do it much the same way I just did the other one. I'm going to lay my flakes down. Then I'm going to start burnishing with my fingers, pulling those flakes into areas that don't have flakes yet. Need all that. Little bits of glue on my fingers from the last one. It wanted to stick to me instead. Putting the flakes down everywhere that don't have them, everywhere that doesn't have them. Grab my brush again, and then I'll just start rubbing them, working the foil. These brushes work really well for this. I have some of these still in the store. This is from Nouveau, and I love these brushes for this job. It's a great brush for the job. They're firm enough to push off the extra foils and soft enough not to scratch my foils, which are actually rather delicate. If I were going to put this on something where I wanted it to be permanent, you know, on paper I probably wouldn't worry about trying to seal it, but if I were putting this on a vase, or I were putting this on a plate, or I were putting this on a planter, I would absolutely seal this. I would put a sealer or varnish over it to make sure that it's durable, because the material itself is very delicate. Come at it from different directions to get the foils separated and picked up where there's no glue. A couple places here that are being a little bit contrary. I may have glue there. Maybe had a little seeping under my stencil. But in the interest of time, let's be done. I'd probably spend another 3 or 4 minutes working this normally, because I love foils and gilding flakes, and I like them to turn out as perfect as I can get them. The sheet had flakes both on the front and on the back. Actually, let's see which side I like better. Or it had adhesive on the front and on the back. I had it on my table over there, and I didn't realize that it had already had adhesive on one side, and I did the other side. That'll be interesting to see what we get. This is that honeycomb pattern. At least it won't be sticky on the back after I do this. We have a beautiful, beautiful selection of Creative Expressions gilding flakes in the system that are attractively priced, and it's a good time to get those. If you haven't done gilding flakes, it's really, really a fun process. You would enjoy it. I love the effect. Just because this was a spur of the moment experiment, I'm going to go ahead and be done with this here soon. I'll just show it to you and we'll move on. Love that honeycomb stencil. Yeah, this needs to be worked a little more, but you can still see what we're doing. And then here's our side we were really using. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So you got gilding flakes through a stencil. We've got metal sheeting, metal sheets through a stencil. We've got deco foil through a stencil. I don't waste any of this. Everything goes back in the bottle. Well, I can't say absolutely everything. Some little shards will probably get cleaned up with a cleaning cloth, but I really try to keep all of it, because why not? It all works on there. What are you working on, Bryce? Oh, you're putting my stand together. That's what he's doing. Okay. All right, let's see. What else do I want to do next? I did sheet foil gilding flakes. I showed you the clear material on Jamie background. We looked at that when it came in. Let's do some re-inkers. It'll be fun. Re-inkers. So on Wednesday, I told you I got just a couple of re-inkers in from Lisa Horton. we have a few colors of re-inkers in the store. If you have the Lisa Horton pads, I recommend getting these while you can, because I'm not sure if they're going to keep making them. I'm seeing places closing them out, so I'm not sure exactly what that means to our future availability, but they're great. You can use these just like you use the ink pads, except that I'm going to put it down on my excuse me, put it down on my tray. I don't care that that has a few metal flakes in it. No, I need a stencil. It's a little tacky though. This one might be fun. I like the peacock feathers. I got my stencil already a little bit sticky, and you'd ask me, will these clean up entirely with water? And I'm going to tell you that after trying this spray on lots of different stencils, that they don't. The sticky spray, this pixie spray I'm using to put the sticky on the back of my stencils, does not come off with water, but you can use alcohol-based hand sanitizer and it'll strip the adhesive right off if it bugs you that's on there. For me, I'm always going to use the stencils, most likely with, I'm almost always going to use them with my sticky spray, so I don't care that they're a little bit tacky, but I could use alcohol-based hand sanitizer to pick them up if I did not want that to happen. I'm going to grab a little of my glue or my ink. I'm going to start off my stencil and go to putting it on. I really seem to have a lot of blue stuff. That wasn't by intent, it just happened. I do use a lot of blue backgrounds though, so that'll be okay. What it might do, we might make this a little multimedia and put a little bit of the pearl over the top of this blue. Let's see what happens if we do that. That could be fun. The opal polish, add a little purple to it. The sticky spray does such a good job of holding the stencil in place so that we don't get a lot of seepage underneath, even with a thin material like ink. If you're not using material, if you're using a material that's very liquidy like ink, keep the amount you're using really down, and you might even daub it off a little bit. If you have an applicator that's really applying your ink heavily, then just rub it on your background surface or take some off on a paper towel or a scrap sheet so that you don't get too much ink, because we don't want it bleeding under the stencil, and that's what will happen if we get too much. Even with the sticky spray, you can still get bleed under the stencil if you have it on too thick. So I'm liking that. I have a nice overall finish there. I think that's pretty. This is the Cloud 9. This one is called Opal Blush. Now, one of the reasons why it's Opal Blush, in fact, we could actually get a different effect just by going over this more. I'm going to do that just because I'm going to put it extra heavy in a few places, right in the centers of my leaves, I think. I'll go a little extra heavy, and let's just use, I was thinking about putting on the gilding polish, but this is actually even better. I'm going to do the eyes of my peacock feathers with a second coat. And what we're going to find here, I believe, is that where we're putting the ink on as a second coat over the blue, it's going to get purplish. And we don't even have to use two colors. We're going to use the same exact ink. You can use these with or without the Lisa Horton pads. They're very affordably priced. I bought them on closeout so I could offer them at a great price to you. And I love Lisa Horton inks, so I was pleased to get even a couple of the background re-inkers. A little bit more here. I'm going right over the eyes of those feathers. So when we peel this off, I think we'll find that we have kind of a lavenderish color that comes up in the eyes of these. This stencil's beautiful. I think I still have one or two of these in the store. That's really beautiful. People saw me, although it's possible they're gone, because people saw me using them in class the other night, and I noticed that they sent Sandy and Laurel down to get these stencils, so I don't know how many I have left. Okay, so I've got my stencil. Just let that sit for a second. I'm going to go ahead and take it off. Look at the beautiful stick we get. We didn't get any bleed under. In fact, the only imperfection I see is right here, and that's because I had a little bit of glue on my cardstock there. Can you see the purple coming up in the centers of those? Can you see the purple there? That's the same ink as what we put on the blue. It's just that when it's applied to a darker color, it shows purple. So even though the blue was what we put down and it was on white paper, it turned blue. When we gave it a second coat, we were putting polish over blue, and now it comes up as purple. Isn't that fun? I love that. That's great. Yeah, we can see it. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. What an easy way to get a great special effect, huh? That's gorgeous. I love that. All right, so re-inkers. I said we were going to, on my notes, we were going to do re-inkers. We have now done re-inkers. Put this down. Spray it with my bottle. Put another one on top. This is often how I clean my stencils if I'm not close to the water. There. My stencil's nice and clean. Baby wipes, gotta love them. I'll pick up a few of my flakes now with baby wipes, so I'm not wearing all of them. I'll still be wearing quite a few by the time we're done. All right, so, all right. And I showed you the opal polish. I want to try something different here. I told you about the paste, and I showed you the glass bead paste. Hey, honey, will you spray this for me over there in a space other than where I'm breathing? You want to make sure that you're using a spray where it's well ventilated. Just give that a spritz for me over there. Not where you're breathing either. You don't want to be breathing this glue. It's not good for you. Can you customize a 12 by 12 cardstock with stencil and no warping? Yes, you absolutely can. 12 by 12 cardstock with stencil and no warping. Yes, it depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah, we can try that, Glenn. What kind of material do you want to use? This dirty one, but I'm going to clean our tablet. Oh, thank you, honey. Okay, Bryce just sprayed this with tacky for me, so we're going to put this stencil down, rub it across it. All right, now let's get our glass bead glitter gel. This one's by Faber-Castell. I have another one, but it's another brand. I've had good results with this one. I haven't tried the other one yet, so I don't know what you get with that. And need a tool to take some out of my jar. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to go ahead and just plop some right at my stencil. I'm going to put a fair amount of this out because it's a thick material. I'm going to close my jar while I'm working that. I'll come back and get more if necessary. You can hear the glass in it when I rub it with my knife. Hear that? That kind of scratchy sound? That's the glass beads in the material. I'm going to try and fill all the little cavities. Once I have them filled, I don't want to go over it and over it and over it, because what I'll end up doing is picking some of that back up again. So it's kind of a balancing act. You need to put on enough for it to fill all the little holes, but don't work it and work it and work it to where you're picking it back up again, because that's counterproductive. Just want a nice coat over everything. This bead gel is thick, so it's going to have a pretty thick coat on. I think what I'll do is use my bigger scraper. I do love this big scraper. I think we still have some of these in the store. But many of you actually got the just got some gilding flakes in it, but I don't think I care. Got the one that I had from Craft Workshop for $1.99. I have some more of those coming. Not quite thick enough at this edge. I'm going to put just a tad more on this outside edge. Thick enough to get it on it, not so thick that I'm wasting my material. Normally I'd put stuff back in the tube, but I'm not going to put it in this time because I have those gilded flakes in it. Okay, let's take our stencil off, and we've got this beautiful beaded paste there. I'm going to set this aside where I can't get anything in it. That's going to be gorgeous. Isn't that pretty? It's just going to be very sparkly from the glass beads in it. So I'm going to put that away so I can't get into it. And then we will try something else. One of the things we're going to do today is we're going to do some mixed media, which is fun. I think I called it multimedia the other day. I think that's for stereos and the like, but it doesn't matter. It's the same principle. I want multiple, instead of multiple devices, I want multiple materials. Hey honey, can you rinse this for me? This has got bead gel and I don't think it's going to clean up real well back here. I'm making a bigger mess than I am cleaning a mess. Thank you. All right. I have all kinds of little beads on my fingers. Yes, Thelma, we love you, my friend. We will maybe talk later today. I'll wipe off my tools. You don't want to let this stuff set up on your tools. Let it set up on your tools. It's likely to be permanent. So it's water soluble as long as it's wet. Once it gets dry, you have it for a long time, or it's going to be a real pain to get off. I love this scraper. It really looks like it's been through a battle because I use it all the time. I love it. Love it, love it. Oh, got a big bunch of paste on my finger here and I just got it all over again. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Here, Teddy under the table making a bed. Yes, Mary T. Hopefully you're watching this later. We miss you. We're glad to have you back in our chat. We miss our friends when they're not here. All right. So we did that. How about the next thing we're going to do is let's do a mixed media stencil. I'm going to use 3 different materials with this. Here I have my sprayed stencil. I'm going to get myself a piece of cardstock. I'm actually going to cut it down because this stencil I'm using is made to go with a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 stencil. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay. All right. I have a little sticky on the back of my stencil. I hope it's enough. We'll see. All right. I'm going to start. Actually, I'm not even going to put the stencil down to start with. To start with, I'm going to make myself just some little swirly bits of background. Clean my brush. Get another brush. You want to wash that for me, please? Okay. I'm going to put a little of this ink on my glass mat. This happens to be Distress Oxide. I could do the same thing if I wanted to with my Distress ink. Just get a little different effect. This is going to be more opaque. I've got a little ink on my table. I'm going to spritz my ink just a little bit. And I'm going to get my applicator. I'm going to start making a very thin ink spray. And remember, one of the things we could do to keep our cardstock from warping is if we're applying water to it, we want to spritz water on both sides. I like that. I'm getting some nice purple, very light. I don't even know if you can see it. Getting some very, very light purple in there. Now I'm going to pick up some blue. I want some light striping of blue ink in there. I want it very subtle. Very, very subtle. We're getting nice subtle colors there. This is just kind of a background to make the background just not stark white. I've got more ink than I needed for 15 of these cards. And I put that down. Actually, I could have used it and just realized because I'm going to do a little bit more of that, but that's okay. Okay. I'll spritz this on the back again because it's kind of warping a bit as it dries. Push it down. Get my stencil back out here. And I'm going to go to the first box on this stencil. This stencil is by Yeah, CW Craft Workshop. Craft Workshop. Let's get that back out. I want to use some of that. I think I want to use some blue. I'm using Peacock Feathers Blue. Seems to be the pattern of the day. Oops. The stencil's not as sticky as it was. I've used it a couple times to do this. Okay, I'm going to pick up some of my ink here. I'll start inking kind of back and away, and then I'll come over my area that I want to stencil. That way I don't get more ink than I want. I don't want globby, dark areas. So if I take my ink and put it down in the center and then come out from there, I'll get more subtle coloring. Like that. Okay. The next piece of my stencil. Come on, let go. The next piece of my stencil, I'm going to come over here where I have these leaves and fish and other great things. I'm going to line up my stencil with the background. Like that right there. I'm going to use green this time. A little green.
Fish are orange.
Huh?
The fish should be orange.
Well, then go find me an orange. The box of stuff is, they're probably not goldfish, honey.
Are they over here?
Yeah, on the table is my whole box of ink. You bring me some, I'll paint the fish orange. A nice circular motion. I'm being careful though where I have pieces of my stencil that are unattached to kind of go directionally so that I'm not getting my ink under my stencil. I actually used the stencil quite a few times down. Got all that. Come down here and get a little of this. So you see where my stencil is sticking up a little bit right there with that leaf? We still have a beautiful stencil there because we were directionally and didn't let the ink get under that stencil. Now, I'm going to change materials. And I'm going to use, just because I can, I'm going to use a different material. I'm going to use, oops, I didn't do the fish yet, but I'll go back. I'm going to use a stencil butter for this.
Do your fish first before stencil butter.
Oh, I'm okay. And I'm just matching up my pattern somewhat. Let's use this light one. I probably have a good idea. Maybe I should go back and do the fish before I do that. Because the stencil butter will be messier. And just match this back up.
Catherine says, I love the glitter effect, but I'm still hoovering up after 6 months.
Yep. That comes with the territory. Okay, Bryce brought us orange. All right.
The orange is more coral than orange.
It is. It's more coral. I saw some brushes in here. It'll get swiped over time. Oh, come on. I guess I can use this one you washed, hopefully. Let's put a little coral on our fish here. Now I gotta notice something here. See where we did our background there? How it's just kind of blending this whole scene together, picking up those background colors, making it look a little bit more like I'm not happy with my fish. My brush was still a little wet. You don't want your brush to be wet when you're stenciling. So I got a little rough edge around my fish.
Say good night to Catherine.
Good night, Catherine. Darn it. Okay. Well, I think I'll leave them alone. What I'm going to do is put some gold gilding flakes on the tails of my fish. Okay, so this is multimedia after all. We can do what we want. Okay, I'm lining this up. Getting ready to do some. So there's a tip. Make sure your brush is nice and dry before you start stenciling, because you can get unforeseen and not wanted effects. Okay, I'm going to use this, the Craft Workshop butter. Now, what's the difference between a butter and a paste? The butters.
So you can buy it, Glenn.
Oh, you're heading out? Okay, see you later. We're going to, the butter is much more buttery. It's very, very smooth and soft, like melted butter, like room temperature butter. I'm going to take a little out. I'm going to put it on my palette. And I'm going to close up my jar. I don't want to leave things open while we're working. I'm going to just spread that butter down and over my stencil. And be careful of the directionality of some of these little points.
Irene had family stop by, so she's going to
Bye, guys. Okay. I'm going to actually use a brush to put this on.
Why are you doing the brush instead of the palette knife?
Because you get a thinner coat, but I'm going to get a much thinner coat. I may end up wishing I'd used the palette knife. I can always do 2 coats too. The thing I have to do is remember to be very light-handed with it as I put this down. I hope the people who are leaving come back and see the finished result, because this is really fun. A little bit more. Let's see what I get there. Bear tummy over and over again. Okay. Let's see what happens there. Oh, that's pretty. Get a little thicker in places than I wanted. Okay. Now, I'm going to let this dry. But what I would normally do if it was already dry is move to step 4, and then I would put down some of my yes, I do, hundreds. I'd put down some of my tacky when dry, and I'd do the 4th area in tacky with dry. I've already prepared one for that. So let's go get that one. I did before. I'm actually done with this for now. So I'm going to give you this, and this, and this, and this. Put a daub, just a drop of hand soap on there, would you?
I always do.
Okay. All right. So I already have this one. I did before, and you can see the little shiny areas where I have the tacky when dry. Now I'm going to put down a piece of foil to decide which one I want to use. I'm going to use lavender. I could use lavender. I could use that blue. I also have this fabulous green. I think this would be fun. Let's try this. This particular stencil we've been using for this I do not have yet, but I will have soon. It's on order. Okay, I'm going to cut this foil. It's way bigger than it has to be. It can be more manageable if I cut it down a little. I'm going to put my deco foil right over the top. Do you have the scraper tool over there now, honey?
The what?
The scraper?
No. Just gave me a palette knife.
I found it. It's here. I'm going to use my scraper tool on top here. I've got that tacky when wet underneath. Rub this down really good on top. Multimedia today. We're using stencil butter, inks, tacky when wet, deco foil. I'm rubbing my foil on really good. I want all that tacky when wet to grab the foil. When I put the foil on top, when I'm using deco foil, I always put the pretty side towards me. The business side of the foil is the bottom, and it's just kind of plain looking. Put the fancy side of the foil towards you when you put deco foil down. This want to get it nice and firm on there. All right, the big reveal. Are we ready? Are we ready? Here we go, guys. There's our mixed media. Our mixed media background. So you can mix and match and do 14 different things on your patterns. You can go back and put glossy over the top of other things. I like these layered stencils. It's fun. Let's try a little. I'm going to go just a few more minutes here. I've actually covered most of what I had in my notes. Thank you, honey. All right, what do I want to do next? Do you see our finished?
Oh, very nice.
Okay. I want to, ouch. I need a stencil that gives me a picture. Stencil of some sort. Go through my stack here. These deco foils are all over my desk. Lots of deco foils up. I'll roll them all up and put them back in their tubes. Reasonably good way to store them. They hang up on the plastic packaging. Ooh, this could be nice. Yeah, that's probably the closest I have to a picture stencil here. I have these. These are pretty. Just thinking about how I want to approach this here, guys. It's a really big one to take off on. Let's do this little one just for fun.
Binder clips.
Okay. All right. Whoops. Scrapey sound. Sorry. Let's get a piece of cardstock out of here. Let's just do a layered stencil. It'll be fun. Huh? The stencil set that's got 1, 2, 3 stencils in it. I think they're numbered. I don't think they tell me which order to do them in. I think I need stencil spray. This is the side I want sprayed. Okay, let's see. See how our bead gel's doing up here. Beautiful. See what we got going there? And because I have some little pieces of foiling in here, I probably will just brush over this with a color or multiple colors to get a fun and different effect than just the white, although the white would be beautiful. Bring this back with my tacky stencils. Thank you. All right. And for something I can get something that is a darker color. Can you grab me? Just grab me a brownish something. Thank you.
2 shades.
Okay. All right. Pick up a little ink here. Stencils down good. Let's get some branches. These little petite stencils would be perfect for focals on your cards. Okay. These little stencils can be a little bit challenging sometimes to line up, so I'm going to put myself a line right at the edge of that since I'm going to cut it there anyway. I got my line down, my tree trunk. I think next I'll put on my leaves. I line it up here at the bottom and on that edge. I should theoretically get a good line up for my stencil. I can see a lot of color through the holes. Oops. I had it and I moved it. There we go. So I'm going to put some nice green in here. Evergreen Bow looks like a good candidate for the job. I don't know how much ink I'm going to have, so starting off of the printed area and swirling a bit makes some sense to figure out what depth of color you're going to get with this. And just a nice swirly motion. I like that. That looks nice. Okay. We've got a trunk and leaves. And I'm going to put add some flowers into the equation. Haven't used a stencil before. I was trying to decide how much it was supposed to line up. And I want something. I'm going to use some of this stencil butter. Get something nice and purple. Oh. Flowers actually layer over some of the trunk and some of the leaves, so I think I want my flowers to be a fairly deep color. Every stencil we've shown in this class is available in the store, or has been recently available. It's possible that they've since sold out, but you should be able to find any of these stencils that you like. And stencils are currently half off. So it's a great time to pick up a few new favorites. Oh, I like that. That's going to be a really pretty focal on my card. I like that a lot. More look. I'll do another one. I think I'm going to try something different. We'll see what happens. Because I like to do different things. I'm going to get that first stencil out again. Find my brush for the brown. I think I washed it off already. Left my brown open, didn't I? Not supposed to do that. Try something different this time. I have never tried this, but I'm sure it will. Well, I believe it will work. Let me say that. I believe it will work. Not certain, but I believe it will. I've never been afraid to try stuff and potentially be embarrassed in front of you. I figure if I try it, you don't have to. And if I try it and it works out great, you got new ideas. In the stencil class over the last couple weeks, we have just raided the shelves of my classroom. Just raided the shelves. If you could use it to color something, we've pretty much touched it. Although I gotta say, I have a lot of different stuff, and we probably still have things I haven't tried. Hello, Mr. Ted. You don't get to come back for seconds, baby. You don't get to come back for seconds. Good try, though. Okay, you can line this up so that the limbs are kind of offset from my green. I'm going to put the green on again. I'm going to try something different with the blooms. That's what I want to do. Try something different with the blooms. I have no idea what will happen, but we're going to find out. Now, I still have a lot of stencil butter on my work surface here. I'm putting this on right. I like that. I get some stencil butter on my brush here. And I'm going to stencil on here. I'm using this more like a stencil brush and tapping, 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 tapping. I want a little bit more material on here. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. It's going to be wet when I'm done. I'm going to try putting some embossing powder over it and heating it. See what happens. Haven't tried this before. Don't know. But I think it should work. What do you guys think? You think it'll work? Don't know. A little more stencil butter here. A little bit more. Half the fun is figuring out what happens when you try something crazy and different. Oh, I got a different color. That's actually fine. I didn't realize I had two colors. I want to tap, tap, tap because I want more stencil butter there to stay wet for my embossing powder. I need just a sheet of, I either need a glitter tray or I need a sheet of typing printer paper. And make sure everything's a little wet. Tap, 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 tap. It's a small surface. This was what I wanted to try with the butterfly, but I was afraid to try it on a pattern that was that big. I thought he was headed back. He wasn't yet. Keep putting the stencil butter in place. I'm going to keep this wet. Coming? Control my embossing powder. Okay, thank you. Okay, stencil off, and it's pretty, but let's see what happens if we sprinkle some embossing powder on there. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, guys, but it would be fun to find out. Okay. Happen to have an embossing gun right here. Let's give it a shot. Don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, my butter's nice and dry. It worked. See there? We have a little bit of a shine to it. And we have glitter in it. It was my glaze and glitter embossing powder I grabbed. It's got lots of glitter in it. Let's just cut this out and see what it looks like. Be a beautiful focal for a card. Come in closer, honey.
Down on her. There you go.
Have fun. Fun and different. I like it. So I did one. Yeah, this one's dry now too. We did one with just stencil butter. Then we did one with stencil butter and embossing powder over it. So that's fun. Stencil's a little funny right there. It doesn't quite join, but I just put my greeting right over that area. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, let's see. Is there, I can't think of a thing we haven't done yet, guys. I could use some watercolors. I haven't done that. But we've I mean, you know what we're going to do. If we use watercolors, we're going to use a brush. We're going to dry brush it for a stencil. I'm going to just take a recap and let's look at all these things we've made. I think that's a good way to go. Let's go back and take a little bit of a recap. I'd like to do that. Because we have a lot of stenciling work done in the last couple of weeks. This is the kind of stencil brush that the craft workshop recommends. A very stiff stencil brush for your tapping. I didn't think to grab it. I was just using the brushes that were sitting here. All right, I'm going to give Bryce these. And do anything else wet? Yeah, I think I used that one again.
Need the 3 stencils.
Yes. Oh, what did I do with them? There. I'll take these with him. This one might have been good for a second print. And lots of ink on it. All right, let's see what we've got. Let's just what? There's what?
Oh, I guess these are them.
Oh, this one I already cleaned. All right, let's see. Let's pick up all these toppers that we've created. Okay. I'm kind of going a little bit of reverse order here. Okay, so here's our last one. Embossing powder through a stencil. I did it on top of the stencil butter, but you could do it on embossing ink or other things. Here's our original from that stencil. It's a stencil butter to get that nice pearlescent look to them. Beautiful. And I like the fact that my oxide ink is matte and my flowers are gloss. I'm easily entertained, perhaps, but I think I'd like to do with this. I still want a bit of sparkle in this. So I think I'll go put some little mini rhinestones in the centers of my flowers. I think that'll be pretty, or even some stickles would be good, just to get a little glitter look there. Liking that. This is the one we did today. That we did the opal polish. I know a lot of you have this. We did the opal polish, and the opal polish on white turns blue. But when you apply opal polish on a darker color, it turns purple. So when we went back and we added the opal polish to our peacock feathers, the eyes of our peacock feathers, and made a second coat, it turned lavender. So we've got that beautiful lavender in the eyes of our peacock feathers. We did foiling today. This was one that was just kind of down and dirty. Didn't finish it, but we did some beautiful foiling today with our foiled papers. Messed around on the other side. We did our mixed media technique card. Very pretty. We used deco foil on sticky when dry paste. This is the foil sheets. This is the foil sheets. The leaf, metal leaf, on sticky when dry. This is what I did last night. I put the opal polish through my stencil onto my Jamie paper I previously made. And because the paper was dark, it came out purple. When I did a second print on that area, it's white with a tinge of purple. This actually might be really pretty used together somehow. I'll have to think on that. That could be really pretty used together. Okay, here's one where I mixed Ranger texture paste and a little bit of Jamie powder. And I ended up with a shiny, beautiful background. It's so pretty. This one is Jamie powder through a stencil. This one is Jamie powder through a stencil with a little bit of that. I had a little bit of that texture paste left on my mat, and I just kind of mixed in a little bit as it was there. This is our beads, like we did a while ago. This is the beading, but what I did with this is I put down my beading material, and then I came in with a brush and just brushed some color over the top of the beads. I love the way this turned out. Just playing. This one I love. It's one of my favorites too. This one, I finished the stencil, and then I came back, put the stencil back on it, and put varnish over it, or paste. I don't remember which substance, but a gloss finish over the top of my finished stencil. I think that's just gorgeous. Here's the one we tried where we were using die cuts to mask. Love this. So we cut out the dies, we slap them on our paper, we spritzed our paper with our mica spray, and then we get to use both the sprayed leaves, which turned out beautiful. We'll get to use our sprayed mica leaves and our background, something different. This was done with Lisa Horton Inference ink pad, 2 different colors, but I was using the blue and the green through a stencil. And then I wondered what would happen if I used this yellow, it was kind of a banana colored paste, and I didn't clean my stencil. Would I get some pickup from the blue around the flowers? And I did. It's actually, you don't see it too much on screen, but you can. There we go. Thanks, honey. You can see it a little bit. You see some little rings around the flowers. I was just curious what would happen. Jamie powders through a stencil. This was Jamie powders background, and then I used 2 different colors of ink. I used that foresty color and the blue, and used that honeycomb stencil. And then I took some of this polish and just kind of rubbed a little bit around here and there. Let's see what would happen if we'd get some purple highlights. We did. This was one of our pastes. I started out with it showing this one today, and I couldn't remember which one it was. I was better last week about laying my pastes out with the materials that I used so I could tell what I had done stuff with. But this is one of my pastes through a stencil, 2 different colors. This one we talked about earlier. Love that. Love, love, love that. That's one of my favorites. This was the stencil that gave me that second print. This was the stencil I ended up selling to one of my crafty friends when she said, "Hey, I want one of those." And I said, "I think I got the last one." She said, "Then I want yours." She's a good crafty friend. I sold it to her. This is petal pads, ink pads that are just like the little triangles. And this is putting down Dazzle's stickers, just different image stickers on my background, and then tapping the ink all over. I like that I got these little marks this way and that way and every way. It just really adds character to it. And when it was dry, well, then after I finished it, don't wait too long. Peel up the stickers as soon as you're done, because the stickers become permanent over time and they get hard to take off. So you want to take those stickers right off after you're done with your technique. This is Jamie powders. I like Jamie powders, can you tell? And I had an awful lot of it on my mat, and I didn't want to waste it, so I just kept going. I love this blue combination of blue and green, though. It's pretty. Jamie powders. Jamie powders. Jamie powders to a stencil. Jamie powders. I had a Jamie powders class in here in case you couldn't tell. More Jamie powders. This one I love. This was done through a stencil with the Lisa Horton Inference inks. And I love the way that turned out. I did another one on black, and then I did my second print off of my stencil on white, and look how it outlined all those flowers. Isn't that cool? I thought that was really cool. I love that one. This was, it started out to be Jamie powders, or Jamie powders on glue through a stencil, and I kind of messed it up, so I just turned it into a background with Jamie powders on glue. This is one of my It's called Desert something or other. It's one of the Cosmic Shimmer pastes. This is the one where we used the Aurora flakes last week through a stencil. Then we lifted the stencil and put down clear glitter. These are just Jamie paste or Jamie powders from class. This one was demonstrating that you can cut a stencil from paper, put paste through it, and use the cutout, the die cut as a stencil. And I wanted to know, could I actually get a second print? And the answer was yes, I could actually get a second print. This is just a down and dirty, really quick test to see. But yes, I could get more than one print off of a stencil made from cardstock. This is using a doily as a stencil, putting the doily down, putting glitter through the doily, work it, peel this doily up and put clear glitter. And my doily became my stencil. You could do that with lace too. This one, come in close. One of these was done in the die cutter, and one of these was done just putting a rubber mat and a metal stencil through my die cutter. And the other one was done on a light table. So very old fashioned. This is old school here. Beautiful, beautiful embossing through those stencils in your die cutter. Stencil paste through that stencil we looked at a while ago. This is what happened when I took my background Jamie paper, which had all kinds of fun imperfections in it. It had all those bits of blue water stains, one thing and another. I just put a stencil over it and used Ranger texture paste, clear texture paste, just to add a texture to it, which not only added shine, but it made the leaves a little darker. This one is metal leaf on black card, and that's done over the top of sticky when dry. This was running, this is a stencil with foil, deco foil. This one was kind of a down and dirty one in class the other night where I think we did this last week actually. Well, we very quickly made these peacock leaves by just putting down our green and then adding blue and then adding a touch of bright purple to the centers of those very quickly. Again, this was the Aurora flakes, the pink Aurora flakes, put through a stencil on double stick paper, then peel off the stencil and use clear glitter over it. This one is a spritzer through a stencil. You got the idea? There's at least 101 ways with stencils. If you don't have it already, you can email me at info@simplyspecial.com, and I will send you a copy of last week's newsletter that has my script or my notes for the 101 ways with stencils, and I'd be happy to share that with you. If you already get email, if you get our weekly What's New Wednesdays, you already have that. Just check your email box and your junk box to make sure that where that went, but you already have it. Wow. This ended up being a big project. I had lots of fun with it, but it was a big project. So I think we're going to call that good. If you're watching and you're not a member, hit that subscribe button, because you don't want to miss a thing we're up to. We have fun all the time, and we just do the most amazing things. I can't wait to start turning some of these into cards. It's going to be gorgeous.
You know what we're doing next Saturday?
Next Saturday, I said we were going to do fans, and I think I'm going to stick with that. I think we'll do die-cut fans using the fan die from Creative Expressions. And I think we'll try and we'll do one in paper and one in vellum to see what we get. So that should be really fun. I haven't done one of those in years, so that'll be great fun. Wednesday, we'll be back with What's New Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. That is 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back next Saturday at 11 a.m., 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll look forward to seeing you all then. I try some of these techniques, guys. It's just such great fun. Get those stencils out and then go raid your craft cupboard. If it's something that you can use to create color on a project, you probably can use it with a stencil. I have this desk filled. Filled. I won't have it back up because it's really rather embarrassing looking desk, but filled, absolutely filled with products that can work with stencils. So it's been great fun to do this with you. If you didn't already leave a thumbs up, please leave a thumbs up. It makes me happy. And you can leave a comment. I'd love to hear which technique was new to you. Was there anything we've done that was brand new to you in this series? Or bead or clear beading material or mixed media? Tell me what you liked and what was new to you. Anything that you could think of that was new to you in this series. I'd love to hear about that. And Mary Marr does a drawing once a month and sends a happy gram to somebody who leaves a comment. So you get entered in that drawing automatically. That's it. I'm Debbie from Simply Special Crafts, and we will see you next time. Good night, Grace.